seconds early. Oh shit, I have to... God, it happened again. It's literally, it's the second I click on go live. It's like, oh shit, still playing music. Hello, welcome to...
Whatever this is.
Fast Food Thursday. Episode 104. BustraZeneca.
104,
There's this, today we're just gonna watch Brady play War Thunder because nobody else showed up.
Well,
is this
episode 104? I'll flight 104, even though I've never used it, so it's got none of its upgrades.
Is this also a Chinese, I'm sorry, a West Taiwan jet?
Yes and no. It's obviously bought from America.
What?
104 is an American jet that is just a dart.
Oh, look, there's people
needle.
posting in studio chat, though. Okay.
Oh, I'm going to quickly...
Queen Avatala overwhelmed Anakin with the galactic Naboobies. And stunning as Count Dooku endlessly... Oh my god. This is big. Bigly. You know about this, there's this guy, this Hungarian guy, I'm gonna Google him real quick. Basically, he's like a freak of nature and he can survive insane G-forces. Hungarian.
Is he American?
No, he's Hungarian, who can survive...
Shit. Isn't Hungary socialist?
It kind of looks like a rocket. No, that's a Tom Scott video.
Yes.
What's the okay, G-force world record? I think he's the world record holder. You can't tell me that this is not that I've imagined this. This is a real guy who does actually exist. No, I don't want to know about the euthanasia coaster. I want to know about the guy, the Hungarian guy, man. I can't remember his name. He's Hungarian.
What's wrong with Hungarians?
Nothing's wrong with Hungarians, but the names is no. The highest recorded G-force ever survived is more than but I don't think it's this guy. No. Okay, so apparently the world record holder for surviving the highest G-force is a Swedish race car driver. And I have to turn off the sound of the site. But that's not who I mean. Fucking pilot Hungarian. Yes. So this is the guy. Yes. His name is. Actually, I'm not gonna try to pronounce it. I'm just gonna post it in studio chat. Are you serious, Wikipedia? Are you actually for real that this is how you're gonna fucking post this? Goddamn, motherfucker.
That's great.
It's Desu Sentgyogi.
Desu? I thought you said Hungarian.
I have no idea how to even begin pronouncing this. But anyway, he's the guy who's just a complete freak of nature and can basically, like, they put him in like this the astronaut centrifuge, and it's like the place where astronauts pass out, and he's fine. Who's hot micing?
Oh, sorry, that's me. I just wanted to say hi real quick.
Hi. Hello.
Perhaps
how are
you?
I'm still at work, so bye.
That's terrible. He basically they put him in like the centrifuge for it really does look like a dart. In the centrifuge.
It really is.
And he just hangs out there. He's fine.
Apparently, this This plane was not popular in Germany. It was known as the Widowmaker.
Damn. Actually, I have there's a war story of someone that I know who's like her grandma was with her mum. Yeah, let me. Oh fuck! This is a 13-minute video. I just want the. It says more than 30 seconds in 9G, and it's a 13-minute video. Like, fucking no. Listen to me. What am I saying? I was saying something very cool, though. Oh yeah, basically, that she was with her grandma. She was coming out of some kind of facility, and they were on like an open plane on like a road by the side of the road, and then an American plane came down and shot at them. And a soldier basically came up to them and like threw them into a ditch by the side of the road and saved their lives. Because there was just an American plane that was shooting at German civilians. Okay, if you Google his name, it actually it doesn't come out. Yeah. Okay, so then no. I might be able to find it like this. This is gonna be just a riveting stream, where they can't even see Brady playing War Thunder because I'm on Studio Chat, and my face covers that particular little small window, right? Right now, I'm just somewhere completely different to find a video that literally nobody fucking cares about.
What are you looking
Oh,
for?
I'm gonna eat shit.
Is about the fucking Desu pilot, how he just withstands unfathomable G-forces. It's probably better if I use.
You mean
You guys can
Jeremy
always listen
Clarkson?
to kitchen cleaning ASMR if you'd like.
Okay, well then there's not going to be such a video because I can't find it.
Well, that's too bad.
It's a video of the guy that I posted though. My town is run by a tribe of homeless people. I'm not kidding. There's a feral family that has been homeless here since the Civil War. I'm sorry, what? Them and their offspring all chose to be homeless, and they have hundreds of offspring who collectively managed to get other jobs at municipal bureaucracy. And apparently 20% of the taxpayer money is being funneled directly toward their elder, 108-year-old blind illiterate man who lives in the sewers. If you complain about this in public, they will find out and make you disappear, so most people can't about their life. There is no way this is true.
And there's also no way to fix it.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless you want to actually raid them with more guns.
I mean, you have to. Is it like vagrancy is illegal in the United States?
Is it?
I don't know.
We don't like this kind here.
What's happening with the yes close?
If you don't have a big business, get the hell out of America.
I have to
Yeah,
Google this
basically.
now. Like fucking, what is going on?
Hallå?
Town run
Vad is
by
los?
homeless people.
Homeless people. Problem.
Well, you're not going to find it by Google if it's part of a big conspiracy.
Yeah, no.
But no,
go
but it
DuckDuckGo.
it
Or better
has
yet,
to be
go Bing. Go Bing.
What you have to use is
some fucking like journalist has to have seen that and gone,
Gotta use G's.
I'm gonna hit up this anon, because that's the only way he can fix it, is to make it like publicly known.
I mean, that would imply journalists even use Google.
I mean, there's still some good journalists.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of,
Well, no.
I have my. This is my.
No, can I have my hot take for a second?
Yeah.
No.
Most journalists are based, but any journalist that claims to be a reporter is cringe.
I have no idea what you mean by this. Anyway, here's this picture that I really like. Farmers have the sex the most, and journalists the least, says UK survey.
Well, I mean, farmers are pretty based.
Yeah. It's just fucking beautiful, like the working class father, just fucking his wife or her
Plowing the fields and
husband,
plowing his wife.
just plowing his like the fucking cucked journalist sitting in the corner.
Cooked journalists? You mean the BBC?
Oh yeah, I mean the
Ugh.
BBC. That's what they basically do state propaganda at this point.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean I saw
Eh,
this.
well,
The BBC is left leaning as fuck, and we have a right leaning.
no. So here's the interesting thing, Brady. They are, but they also want to justify their position within the government. So technically speaking, they're whatever the fuck the government wants it to be, because it's a little bitch.
It basically what you see. I saw like a lot of examples of this where they painted Corbyn as like fucking Hitler and Mao, and with with their little
Yes.
graphics of people, and they're like, in red, and he's a communist and all that. And then they have Theresa May as like Lady Liberty and shit for like, oh yeah, these are the great leaders of the country.
mean, Nah, no one was gonna buy that. Jesus.
Well, I mean, clearly they did. Buy
mean,
it because, the Tories are
women-
still in power.
Women like to say that, like, women's activists like to say women aren't in power, which by the way I view it is they've rejected Theresa May and fucking Margaret Thatcher from being woman.
As they should.
Because they're terrible examples of women.
I remember the Scottish woman going, but do you want a woman like that as a leader? Do you want a woman like that? It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, no, that was cringe. To be honest, our whole government has been cringe since, I would think, probably Thatcher, if not earlier.
It's like fucking, and everybody knows why I know this. This is through
Just
fucking
die,
Friendly
you
Jordies.
Swedish cunt.
Burger's German, not Swedish.
Just Brady just screaming
He's talking
everything.
about the race car driver.
Anyways, you were saying?
Gladys Berejiklian, the Premier of New South Wales, who basically she just gets glowing coverage from all media outlets, and she's terribly corrupt. And it's how
Don't
does he
mention
survive
it.
the onslaught of the evil media, says the media that's just been praising her. She's a woman in power.
Oh god. You saw the latest one from Friendly Jordies about it.
Where
Holy
basically
shit,
all her friends are pedophiles.
Yeah. No, the worst part is I've seen Friendly Jordies like mad. The entire thing where he was demanding the Queen to demote ScoMo.
Yeah.
I thought that was mad. I thought that was him furious. No. Like, this is just like a level of mad not seen before on the Friendly Jordy scale.
Really fucking angry. Like, there wasn't even music in the background.
That's when you know shit is serious.
Yeah. This, like, I mean, I do the same thing when I have videos that are like where I'm like, I can't have lighthearted jazz music.
It's
playing
like
in the
you
background.
barely have the energy to edit it. You can't give a shit about music. That's when it's a good sign that it's going to be good.
But also, no, the thing is also, I can't like have like the lighthearted jazz music playing in the background as I talk about like 13-year-old kids being murdered by police. I feel like this kind of a little moderately tone deaf.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you should do it for the meme.
What you need.
And then
is
he
to
had a
have-
gun to the back of his head, and the brains just splattered over the concrete, and right in front of his little sister. It's just a little bit tone deaf. I wouldn't want to subject people to that. I feel like also it might like just like sort of undermine the message a little bit. Just more.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, you see, and this is why we can't have women politicians. No,
Won't go that far.
I would go that far. Has there been any good female politician?
Yeah.
New
Yeah, a
Zealand.
bunch.
That's the one.
But like on a major scale, I mean, like I'm not counting minor, like local leaders.
My mom.
I hate saying this. But AOC.
Come on.
She's
point.
she's
Fair
not nearly what you
point.
want her to be, but
She doesn't.
She does good as being on Twitter. She doesn't do anything
no,
good.
Critter, you and I have had this exact
Yes.
conversation, and I have
Yes.
pointed
Yeah,
out
and you've shown
literally
me-
hundreds of bills that she co-sponsored.
Post office switching.
No.
to
Hundreds of bills that she
places
co-sponsored. There were actually proper systemic change.
that were already.
She has also co-sponsored a lot of bills about meaningless shit, because that is also something she does about renaming post offices. But every major big one of the bills that all got shot down by Republicans because they were actually effective, it would have done something for the people. She was co-sponsoring all of those.
Yeah, okay, so she's one vote in the pool.
Like,
That
yes.
makes
Welcome
sense that
to
she would be.
democracy, you
I
No,
will-
it
I will
makes
give
sense
you-
that she would be the one that would vote in that way, but I don't think that she would be competent unless she's able to change other people's minds.
That's
on
not
that
what
end.
that's not what politicians do. That's
True.
not what their
Politicians
job
try
is.
to they have to win votes because otherwise they don't get elected.
and
so,
she got reelected.
and then they have
That
to
is
win
fair.
votes to
And
get their
she's
bills
100% going to get reelected again in her district.
Probably,
because she
yeah.
is immensely popular there. And she
Yeah.
dethroned a powerful Democratic establishment incumbent guy as a complete newcomer to politics when she was in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Obama did as well.
Yeah.
That's great.
I do agree that she I don't like the fact that she has sort of there's a lot of now that
I
Biden
just-
is in power, something that has happened with online left is that the Biden administration retweets them sometimes, and then that basically defangs them. Like Kyle Kalinske has been furious about this. Because although Biden is more left than I expected him to be, he's not anywhere near where he should be.
Okay.
And a lot of I will say that AOC has been sitting in that kind of camp where she's been, yay, very good, Biden.
I saw the thing you retweeted about student debt.
If he
Where they've
doesn't
cut
die in
student
office
debt
from
by
a heart
$0.
attack, I lose money.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did I retweet?
The
Oh yeah,
thing
where
about-
he went to we do 0% now. We're gonna do student debt cancellation, and we're gonna cancel 0 of it. That's how much we're gonna cancel. We're gonna do student debt cancellation, and then they give $10 billion to fucking Jeff Bezos' rocket company.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I've got a great take from a couple of guys I've watched, which I've mentioned previously that I watched from Alban Preach. But it's not necessarily their problem with how it's implemented, but the fact that people just keep falling for it. Like student debt, getting out loans. Right?
What do you mean?
And it's just like, hang on, let me try and pull it. Student loans, there we go.
Well, I'd like the argument. I'm not going to watch the video.
Fucking watch it, you lazy ass.
Oh, I'm not going to watch someone else's video on stream.
Oh come on.
That's how you-
This
Well,
could be.
yeah,
This
no,
could be.
no, I
This
don't-
is- that's not how
No, no,
I do
This could be
content.
No, I'm not asking you to watch it on stream and do a live reaction. I'm just saying, put this on your watch later list. Which, just kind of a segue.
Yeah,
Does
but
anyone
what
use
What
that?
do they say though? Because we were having the
Sometimes.
conversation,
It's-
now,
it's
and I'm
ki-
very curious.
I've some
It's-
very old videos on my watch later list.
It's more to do with how they find it stupid that anyone under the age of 21 can still go take out student loans, right? And yet you're not able to drive a car, you're not able to drink, you're not able to, I think, smoke in the US
Yeah,
You
until
can
you're
enlist for
20.
the military.
Yeah. You can enlist
yeah,
for the
you can't go
military.
kill
Like,
people, yeah.
yeah, and they're like, how can you do this when you're barely legal, if not, 3 years?
Hold on.
But you're
say-
barely
Hold on,
illegal.
hold on.
You're almost legal, not barely legal. Barely would
you
be
say
over the
that?
line.
Yeah.
Americans can't
No,
drive at
so,
21.
but yeah, they present,
That
they
is
kind of
actually
ask the
wrong.
question of, why should you be able to do student loans? And it's like, well, it makes no sense. What the fuck is that? Brady, what the fuck is that?
I don't think that this is the right audience, but it looks nice. Though.
But yeah.
It's basically
But-
this. It's literally this.
You
It's
will.
fucking-
My
Well,
literal
God
argument has
damn.
been destroyed by an M10 hint. MI10 Warfend.
We
It is
also have the
wild.
student loan system now, and a lot of the parties are trying to go against it, and the
How
main
high?
party is still like.
How high do your student loans go though?
Depends
do
on
you
what
get-
we have to pay. I think we could
Until
go up
student
to
loans, we did not know that your debt could
17,000 a
go.
year or something.
Because I have student debt. I have like 10,000 euro student debt, and I only have to pay it in like probably another fucking 7 years, I think. Because we have that, and it's not even for going to university. It's just they give you money so you can live if you're poor, and you have to, even if you do very well at university, which I didn't because I dropped out essentially. You don't even have to pay it at all. You don't have to pay it back. But yeah, it's a pretty good system.
Until you're successful on YouTube
I'm-
and you get the taxman on your door.
So the
I'm
average
incredibly
is,
lucky for my
is
parents to have paid
14,000.
my entire college.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's $14,000 that you pay.
And I didn't go to college 'cause I'm
14,500,
dumb.
and it has increased the last 5 years with 4,000 after they implemented this new full-on loan plan.
Is
so
this
it-
per semester or like
That's I think that's overall,
overall?
generally
Okay. Well,
overall average.
that is a lot of money,
So,
but it's also it's not an.
I mean, it's not
It's not
American
like
money.
yeah, it's not American money.
But it's still weird to say, instead of like, oh, you get your what it was before was you get your diploma, then you don't have to pay your loans back, only the money that you might have loaned as an extra. You get a basic grant, and you get the ability to loan extra, and you get that at a 0% rent interest rate. So
Yeah. And it's very
Yeah.
good.
yeah, that was a good system, but now it's a full-on loan, and any money that you borrow, you have to pay back.
That is not so good.
That's not
Yep.
fun, no.
Because it's like the thing, you do not want to burden those people. Like
Yes.
they're like people. Oh, where's the innovation? Where's all the cool new technology? Why are we no longer the number one in like innovating shit, in making new technology? And it's like new business ideas. And the reason for that is that you overburden all of the young people with debt, and you put them into a position where it's essentially impossible for them to start a business, or at least it would be insanely irresponsible unless they are already unfathomably rich, which it turns out it's actually very few of them. So what they have to do is hang out.
Incredibly lucky.
Yeah, be in these old corporations that would rather play it safe because that is how they have survived, or like they have the connections and basically get away with anything, and they have like just extremely stupid ideas.
Figure out who we had to talk to about your light color.
Always fun.
Oh, well, good guys are green and blue, bad guys are red.
Mace Windu.
That's just the way it works.
No purple left?
You might get purple.
I do love that he had his own lightsaber color. I do love purple as a lightsaber color too. I like that Knights of the Old Republic you could get to pick like a bunch of different ones.
Yellow till I die.
White, rather.
Oh, what are you talking about? The color of tennis balls now, Brady?
For fuck's sake, don't bring this
Don't
conversation
start
here.
that, yeah.
Don't do this. Don't do this to me.
It's so funny. He brought it up as a straw poll, and now it's suddenly war between colors.
Damn it. God
All
damn
the
it.
ones I used were green.
Ooh, okay.
That was
Well,
fun.
let's leave it at that.
Christ, I hate people who can't do math. Like, did I tell you guys this? So,
Well, thank
think
you
I
for
told you
hating
to do
me,
this.
fam.
Yeah, I do hate you sometimes.
I literally can't
I went-
do math.
I went to the doctor's, right, to get my eye checked with I found out my left eye is weaker than my right, so I'm gonna have to get glasses.
Can you get a monocle?
I will try.
No,
I will
asked
try.
that. I legit asked that when I went, and he was like, "Hang on a minute." It came back to me, and he's like, "No, we don't do monocles. I'm sorry."
Oh,
Because he was curious as well. The guy that was asking.
That's a damn shame. But so get this. So I call my GPs. It's for one thing. It's not my regular GP. It's not a lady GP, who's my regular GP. It turns out to be a man GP. And holy shit, he is the most condescending fucking piece of shit I have ever fucking heard on the telephone. So get this. So I go like, yeah, I'm getting headaches. My eyes really hurting. You know, I can't see very well. Blurry. What? Yada yada yada. It's like, oh, you came here for headache last time. Oh no. So describe what your problem. Oh no, that's terrible. Oh no. Oh no! You know the whole kind of what's his name? Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
No, not Charlie Chaplin. Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka. You know no, stop, please. You know that kind of tone where he tries to sound helpful, but he's just absolutely condescending. I'm like, how can you? I'm just thinking throughout this entire conversation, like, how the fuck can you talk to people like this? And it's like he's probably got my date of birth in front of him because I'm a regular patient there.
Yeah.
All right. Especially for the last 2 years. So you've probably got my record somewhere. You probably noticed that my age is like, I'm born in 1996. I'm 24 right now. He puts my age at 23.
I would love to say, oh no, that is terrible, but I might have made the same mistake. I literally...
It's like...
But I am disabled.
It depends on your birthday, though, doesn't it?
I have that. It would be funny if you just now found out that actually, oh no, shit, I miscalculated.
You could be 25 this
like
year.
A year younger. That would be funny. Oh, I by the way, a lot of people I haven't told this to anyone yet. I actually have, but some people say, look what I drank today.
Oh yeah.
I was at a friend's place. He just moved in.
Oh, you had that.
And I saw this in the. This is like, I mean, obviously the popular meme version of it is a meme version of this, but Nika whiskey from the barrel is a real thing, and I had it, and it's very, very spicy.
Ooh. You mean nigger whiskey?
Yeah, it's exactly that one. Thank you for saying the quiet part out loud, Brady.
Yeah.
That was a quiet part?
Something. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, Freeze. He's not even here.
Let me just find that other picture.
Man,
I was also there. It is. Yeah, that's the photoshopped version.
It's so funny.
God damn it! Hang on, I gotta hide it quick before
I
my
read
parents see
into
me.
the Mace Windu lightsaber. It was pretty interesting, actually. They made it so that it's basically a mix of light and dark side.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, actually.
From what I understand, his combat style is
very influenced by dark side.
Which is why he's like the best guy.
Vapad.
I mean, supposedly
his combat is basically like the more aggressive his opponent is, the more it kind of like rebounds on him. You know, a bit like use the weight of your enemy against them.
Yeah.
However, he did not win against Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious threw that fight, visibly so, because he had the saber pointed straight to him and didn't take the plunge.
How about Vapad Thai? How about Vapad Thai? And it's a food that you can eat.
Vapad Thai.
Yeah.
What's this about?
No, it's just Pad Thai.
Oh, vape. Yeah. Okay.
Ah, god damn it.
Give me a second.
Wait, 5. Yeah, it's 3 5s. Yeah.
I just found
It's
this
5
on the
threes as
server.
well. You know, 5 times 3 or 3 times 5.
Yeah, but
You know,
that's gay.
multiplication
No.
is like addition. You can put the number anywhere, it won't matter.
Look, it's
No,
gay.
no, listen to me,
It's
you
gay.
little shit.
It's gay.
Listen to me, you little shit.
If you do it like that, you're gay. I am the ultimate authority on this math.
Are you gay then?
Says the guy
No, for me
who
it's
doesn't
3
even do
fives.
data analysis.
Yes.
Says the guy who doesn't even do data analysis.
Yes. See, if you do data analysis, you're in a groupthink corporate bubble. It's his
Well, I mean, I'm literally
maths,
in a small corporation. What do you expect of me?
Maths is written by the gays.
Okay, so I just looked at
Tom 3's
a
the
trending thing
BBC.
on Twitter. God forbid.
Yeah.
It is literally just articles upon articles. No one has even tweeted anything about it. It's literally just articles from the Times. I'm like, yeah, that's totally legit.
And that's trending, supposedly.
Yeah, well, trending in my area is what it is.
Yeah, there's sometimes like very strange things trending. I do remember the day when Sex 2 was trending. That was a good one.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be off Twitter, though.
I still have. Oh yeah, it's a terrible place, and nobody should ever be on Twitter.
Yes. I just like not being on there. That's really nice. It's just the things that leak off of it is enough already.
But also, I've been on Twitter. I am on Twitter a lot.
Thank God I don't go on Twitter anymore.
It's this thing.
Wahlburger. Let's see, you're braver than John Cena.
John Cena, can I just say? Never liked the bitch.
I thought he was okay. But, I mean, now he's a coward, so.
Sex 2 is alright, but I think
I
Sex
fucking
Squared
hate
is
how
better.
China has such a grip on people.
I mean,
I'm sorry, it's not called China, it's West Taiwan.
True, it is West
male.
Taiwan.
What is a theta? A male who is a mystic and an
Fuck West
ascetic. A
Taiwan.
male who is dedicated to fully embodying discipline and a purifying spiritual lifestyle. Embodies the deepest modules of mystique.
Where's theta on the alphabet? Oh god, it's so far down. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta. It's pretty far down.
Is that the police alphabet? That sounds a lot different.
No, it's a Greek alphabet. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, and then the rest.
This is a Warhammer.
Yes, because I like Warhammer.
But what I wanted to say is, like, imagine being that guy. You earn millions and just get tons of publicity from your job. And then they tell you, well, that thing that you said wasn't okay, and we're gonna take away everything if you don't say sorry.
Yeah.
So it's literally it's.
No, I mean, to be fair though, this is why I'll never make it. Because I am not compromising with that shit.
I mean, you could be a PewDiePie, but you'd have to be lucky to survive that.
He honestly, he has enough money. Like, other people would do business with him. It's just that wrestling as an industry specifically, like pro wrestling, is extremely extreme. Like the one wrestling corporation that McMahon runs.
Yeah.
Is just the ultimate monopoly. And whenever somebody tries to come up with like an alternative to it, there's some like dark shit. Like they get found at the bottom of a lake, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but
the real question is, are they suplexed there?
Yeah. And I don't know why I know this much about like the politics of fucking wrestling. There's also, they've been very heavily like union busting. There was a wrestler who she went, wrestlers deserve to be unionized, and within like 30 minutes she was completely blackballed from all wrestling.
Damn.
Yep. Because no unions, because the U.S. is cooked as shit, boys.
It is fucking wild. Yeah.
See, this is what happens when you say workers' rights don't matter.
Yeah.
Thank God I live in England. Thank God I've become disillusioned with the U.S.
In England, where you get stabbed and then sequentially accused of being a man, and then just having to be inside.
It's worse. You can either get stabbed in London, or you can get accused of something that never happened, or you can get accused of something that's not technically controversial but is controversial within the law, or you can get completely butt fucked by a rapist, and the law won't do anything for you. Yeah. Literally, that is how England is. You can get butt fucked by a rapist, and the law will more than rather protect the rapist than you.
I'm a bit skeptical of that claim, to be honest.
Rotherham scandals.
Rotherham was a very interesting situation.
Like, whenever someone tells me, "Oh, that's not true," I just immediately pull the Rotherham scandal card. Like, there is no excuse. Even to this day, they have not protected the girls enough. It's
Nobody likes to talk about Rotherham, though.
That's
because,
the thing.
Like, not only it's like is it fucked up on literally every level, it's also been extremely instrumentalized by right wingers.
Well, yeah, but it's also been pushed down by a lot of the.
It's why it's not really true
mainstream
English, because their football team is garbage.
Yeah, there is that as well. But no, to be fair, it's also that the mainstream, not the mainstream media, just the mainstream anything, mainstream social, mainstream politics, everything just wants to push it down and refuse to acknowledge its existence, basically.
Yeah, because it's nothing about it is in any way redeeming.
Yeah.
Like, you can, and no matter what position you take, somebody's going to hate you, even though I feel like it's a very clear-cut case.
Where the police didn't do anything, the rapists are not getting their just, they're just desserts. Barely, if any. I'm like, 7 to 15 years? 7 to 15 years for a systemic... what's the word when someone who does it repeatedly?
Repeated?
No, there's a specific word for it.
I think there might be, but...
Serial, that's the one.
Yes.
Serial rapists. Yeah. And not only that, but multiple ones. And you give them 7 to 15 years. I'm sorry, they should not see the light.
You know who got 35 years?
Who?
A guy who downloaded papers off a computer in university. And then he killed himself. His name was Aaron Swartz, by the way.
Oh yeah, Aaron Swartz.
That just...
Stealing education, capital offense. Rape, we don't have time for that.
It wasn't even like stealing. Like, you could like, okay, like, they made the claim that it was stealing, but
like, where did he get it?
Would you download
my entire thing is, where the fuck did he get it from? Because there are sites you can legitimately get it from for free. You can just have a login, and it's completely free. It's official.
Yeah, he has a So the university, it's about the this is about like the Elsevier sites, like Elsevier, Springer and shit, and like his university had like access to those, and so he just copied papers off of that. He had like a system that was automatic, that like sitting in a broom closet, a computer he had access to download papers he had access to. And then they got like the best fucking prosecutors, state prosecutors, and got like I'm not. I think it might have been like kind of like I'm not. No, it wasn't terrorism charges. What was it? The
espionage.
Was it espionage?
I'm just guessing because it sounds like that's what they get him on.
Aaron.
Yeah, there was this great video about why thesis and research papers.
Yeah, he basically made Reddit and he
Computer
had
Fraud and Abuse Act. Yeah, he made Reddit,
Yeah.
and also, much more importantly, he made the precursor to Sci-Hub, LibGen. He made LibGen,
Yeah.
and that is what he got for. That is what they put they said 35 years in prison, and then he killed himself because obviously he did.
Because if
through
you
the
get,
book, they systematically made this guy kill himself because he was doing something against the unfathomable monopoly of scientific publishers, because those are incredibly powerful people. Like Elsevier and
publisher is a
Springer,
fuck publisher.
they are incredibly powerful. They have a complete stranglehold on science, because the way that as a scientist you get any sort of legitimacy is you have to publish. You can be the best scientist in the world if you do not publish papers in those magazines.
I genuinely feel that we are going to have a tech stagnation.
That is true.
Fucked.
It's kind of already happening. I mean, many of the
I've just posted
the humans will fall before the might of our sources.
Okay, good one. I've just posted a link to a video that I think is really good on this sort of issue.
Yeah.
Don't watch it on stream, obviously, but just watch it in your own time. It is good.
George is pointing this out in chat. Yes, it's very much true that if for a lot of essays, you could just contact the people who wrote them, and not just essays, but actual papers that got published. They will send it to you. You just send them an email. They'll send you their paper because they see all of the money, because it's it can be $60 to $100 to see a paper, to get access to one paper. Or
even Harvard can't protect its own paper creators because they literally their papers get stolen by those libraries, and they just get exorbitant fees to.
Elsevier doesn't steal them; they publish them. They're the ones who own the magazines. But the amount of money that the actual scientists get is almost nothing.
Yeah. Well, how does that work?
Because publishers.
Well, you can't just get published.
Isn't that intellectual property then? Can't they?
It's
you can't.
I mean, you could probably self-publish, but there's a lot of peer review stuff that they don't.
This is why.
Yeah.
We should reform just the entirety of the copyright system. I'm sorry, but if it is this broken on a fundamental level, where YouTubers or just anyone who makes content can get copyright strike for the minorest of infractions, which legally standing should not be able to be copyright striked. If you have such problems where you get sent 35 years in jail over just downloading some fucking papers, I'm sorry, just reform everything.
Barbarian. You're gonna get Order 66 if you continue.
No, I don't fucking care. Fuck your Order 66 if I'm being honest.
It's the case though. These people will kill you. They're so incredibly
They have
powerful.
done so before.
And it's you cannot, as a scientist, you cannot boycott them. There is especially in Europe, a lot of universities are boycotting them. I know that my university, at least for a while, boycotted Elsevier. I know several other universities that they're not getting those. They're just not paying. They're just not getting Elsevier because they're just jacking up the prices. They're really adding pretty much nothing. They are just taking money.
Yeah. Well, that's good that there's finally some small amount of change happening.
No, this is what you see.
If
I want to go big brain right now, right? This is why America is trying to sever relations with Europe.
Can I just give my hot take on this? Yeah. I think, given the fact that we're getting to a generation, each generation, to be progressively more kind of technologically not competent but aware, right? Not necessarily the laws, but at least the technology. I think you'll see more scientists or just more people who publish thesis papers, research papers, or whatever, will go, why should I, when I can get, one, set up a Patreon or Subscribestar or whatever donation kind of sites to set my work out for free and have, like, okay, it's probably not going to work for everyone, but at least have people see it and people who are interested donate to me. Why should I go through publishers who screw me over?
Because if
when
you
I
don't
can
go
just
through
do it up.
publishers, no one is going to take you seriously, and you won't be able to make any money. And you won't be able
but
to
you
network with
you
other
will
scientists.
You will see it slowly but gradually start to take effect, I think. Where they're going to see, like, publishers as antiquated. Like, completely antiquated, like...
I
It's
would
going to
hope
take
that
a
that
while.
might happen, but I don't think it will.
I'll say look at the music industry, because that's...
Yeah, but
that's a great idea.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the difference between the scientific publishing and the music industry. There's a lot of people who buy music.
Yeah.
There's a very, very small amount of people who buy papers.
Yeah, but they do buy magazines and journals.
And I mean,
please.
Yeah, but even then, it's the only people. So basically the only people who buy those are scientists. It's like it's essentially as if the only people who listened to music were musicians.
I mean, there's people that buy like easy to read magazines that have scientific things.
Extreme outliers. Extreme outliers. There's not going to be enough to
like Quest and National Geographic.
I hate to tell you this, Critter, but most people don't actually care about science.
What? No.
How could it be?
And it's like doing. The thing is, there's the whole nother problem is that across like all disciplines, most scientists spend basically half of their time not doing science, but asking people for money. That's what they already
that's
do.
the most horrible thing.
Yeah.
I would think of science is that it's so much more about funding than it's about actual doing science.
In academia, it's less so because it's less expensive to do. But when you have like some STEM disciplines where it's just like up to like 70% of the time it's just trying to get money in the form of grant proposals. Imagine you have to consider we have these, like, as a society we've invested so much into these people. They are the smartest mega geniuses on the cutting edge of knowledge that we're trying to make do the best things that we could possibly do. And then 70% of their time is spent just begging people for money.
Yeah.
That's how fucked up.
That's how out of current.
Yeah,
that's
like a whole different issue aside from the copyright issue in science.
It's simple, right? It's simple. It's because the tech rush it isn't meta. Wide and mass armies, because who cares if half of them die if you win in the end?
The thing is, I think we haven't reached the scale of industrial revolution of just research. Like, what I'm trying to say is...
Scientific revolution.
Yeah, we haven't had the kind of scientific revolution of the industrial revolution kind of scale.
It was during the fucking wars. We only research when we're blowing each other up.
That is true.
So, are we gonna do Israel or are we gonna do China?
The thing is...
I would hope China, though some can hope for Israel and Palestine both at the same time.
I know a lot of people
but I'm not holding.
Like, entirely abolishing IP. I definitely say we need to massively reform IP. The problem with IP is that it originally, the reason that we came up with it is to protect small people against big, powerful entities.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think changed it to protect the huge, giant entities?
And exactly. Because the problem is that the huge, giant entities are huge, giant entities, and they basically now just serve.
That's why you can't give companies IP.
If you couldn't give companies IP, though, then you would have no way to make money. Like, you would just be able to steal anything from a corporation.
Oh,
based, but...
that's not even the problem.
Hold the IP.
The problem that I would see is that basically, like, imagine like I write a book, right? The book I'm literally currently writing. I write that book. I try to publish it. They just don't care. They just publish it. Slap another name on it. They're a huge corporation, some publisher. And then they make all the money from it because I have literally no recourse because I have no public platform.
I mean, Disney does that as well. They're basically like, oh, you want to come in and talk about your idea? Well, sign this contract, and it says if we even remotely make up something that is closely related to your idea, that's not yours. You can't sue. So it's anything that gets discussed with Disney is Disney's by default, even if they don't. And if they don't like you, you're not.
You would need to have the idea. You would need to have the story itself copyrighted prior to that, and then present this like a script or something like that to Disney.
And then they wouldn't be able to talk to you. And then they don't want to.
Well, I mean, not an idea. You need like a concrete script or something like that.
But they like copyright lawyers are extreme. Like copyright lawyers are some of the most high-paid lawyers in the industry. And like basically, this is
Honestly,
why
if I knew
most
this
authors.
as a kid, I would have just become a copyright lawyer.
It's terrible. It's terrible for like the creative industry too, because a lot of exchange doesn't happen. Like most writers and like artists in general understand that ideas are cheap. You can just have ideas. An idea is not a good idea does not a good project make, right? You can have just shit ideas and still write great books about them or great songs because it's that bit of the craftsmanship. And at the same time, you can have a great idea and it comes out terrible because you don't know how to do it.
Also, Star Wars.
Yeah. And this is why most writers do not accept unsolicited. Like, you can't send them unsolicited work because they will read it and then it might get published. And if they publish something that is remotely related to it, and there's some publishers who are just fucking vampires who will find out, oh look, we published this writer and he sent this book to this other writer, and now this other writer is also writing a book that in some capacity involves sheep, and now we're gonna sue them, and because we have copyright law, we're gonna go fucking hog wild.
Yep. But the problem is with reforming then the fact that it's going to take so long to get lawyers to just decipher it, which is even worse because lawyers.
I'm pretty sure. I don't actually know specifics about there are a lot of reform proposals that are very concrete.
True.
But I do not know the specifics of them.
I'll just get rid of it for a few years. That would be fun.
All I'm saying is basically, don't get rid of IP. Fundamentally change IP, though.
Oh yeah.
But the problem is, again, these people are so incredibly powerful that they will just fuck you. Yeah. They will literally drive you to suicide. They will give you 35 years in prison.
Hence why I think new laws for corporations, if you ever become massive to the point where you can just throw money at people and the laws won't care, you need to be heavily restricted with whatever you do. I don't care if it stifles creativity coming from.
There is a law for that. It's like,
well, it doesn't seem to be effective now, does it?
And anti.
They don't seem to be very effective now, do they?
You just don't have enough to lobby for it. Like, when you lobby against that, they will lobby more.
Yeah. So, Burr, I would say that the people who are against IP as like a concept, usually, because I would include myself in one of those people, the argument is not necessarily like, oh, we get rid of intellectual property and then like that's it. Like the argument essentially is that intellectual property is like a fundamental aspect of market economies because the function of it is to protect authors financially from having their work exploited.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I mean.
Yeah, so if you get rid of that, if you have a system outside of that like monetary market system, then you don't have a need for intellectual property. Intellectual property just becomes a barrier to artistic creativity.
See, I see what you mean, but I'm not like a utopian. I don't think that I get that like in within the context of the world as you envision it, that would work probably. I'm just looking at what can we do.
I'm not a utopian either, by the way.
If we had fully automated luxury space communism, get rid of IP. I don't give a shit. What am I gonna do? I don't even need it. Fucking exploit my work. I have everything I need.
Well, even if you had, like, let's say you had even like a system of like central planning, even though I'm not in favor of central planning.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously that's something that has been done before.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a need for intellectual property because the fact that you produced the work in the first place is what you wanted to do, and then obviously like the state or whoever would be fucking in charge of that would give you money.
Yeah.
Even if you don't believe in like a stateless society, you could still have like a society which doesn't necessarily follow an economic model that's only existed for a couple hundred years.
Yeah.
I mean, like artists
still...
back in medieval times, they didn't like sell their artwork. They tended to have patronage from like lords.
But that also that's a huge problem though. Because artists from back then, basically all they did was propaganda.
No, I completely agree. I 100% agree with that. It's not a thing I'm in favor of. I'm just saying that intellectual property and a market economy are not like inevitabilities. Like you can have like systems outside of that. Even if you don't believe in, if you would call what I believe in utopian, then there's other ways you could have intellectual property not exist.
I mean, to me it's utopian in the sense of like you can't like basically change this system in a vacuum. Like in order for
I don't believe that either.
Other systems also need to change.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here being like, oh yeah, one day we'll just while I'm sitting down playing video games, I'll just
absolutely not. Like, I know that you're very like you're very on top of these things.
It's also like for apples, for example, it takes about 14 years or 7 years to grow a full new brand of apple, and like the fruit, not the cup.
I was very confused for a second.
and they basically they put intellectual property rights.
Yeah, that shit's fucking evil. We need to stop it like immediately. Intellectual property on GMOs is such fucking bullshit. We need to get rid of it.
It's because they need the time to grow them. And then
let me explain something though.
Become open.
I'm fine.
For everybody to sell.
No, you're not understanding though.
Yeah. Okay.
What a lot of people do with GMOs with intellectual property rights is they will remove the ability for that thing to produce like fruit-bearing seeds. And what they'll do is they'll make it like that, and that way the only way you can get it is by cloning of the plant, which basically removes the power for people to grow food.
And they will also like this is
a huge level.
I have to say, allegedly they do this, where it just so happens that, especially like in India, where farmers who don't go for GMOs will suddenly find GMOs growing in their field and then get the shit sued out of them by these companies. Allegedly, this is something that allegedly happens, in my personal opinion. Because if you even smell of saying something like this, you will be found at the bottom of a lake. Allegedly.
If we want to be very, very charitable,
everyone's just making me want to start a freezer these days.
Cross-germination from GMOs can happen in neighboring fields, but likely, I get a hunch, I got a strong tinfoil suspicion that might not be what's happening.
Yeah, like I get wanting to protect patents on that, but also the thing is. This is the same thing with vaccines, right? Like with the vaccine patents. People go, oh no, if we especially for this specific situation, like if we remove these patents, like everyone is just going to be able to do it, and then there's no more reason to innovate. Which is not entirely true, because even if they published the patents, it was all open. Even the recipe, right, was leaked somehow. It would still take years for even like a pharma company to build up the kind of infrastructure to make these vaccines, because they're incredibly complicated.
But at the same time, the US shouldn't get them.
If you open up, if you just don't have patents, what you will get is just industrial espionage, because they will, instead of like doing patents, they will just keep them secret.
Yeah,
and then people are going to die because of industrial espionage. It's like it's a different problem. There needs to be a solution.
Fucked if you do, fucked if you don't.
This specific situation is like
I have a couple of ideas for that. Primarily, if one way you could do it is if the government gives you assistance or grants or something like that, then you have a period by which you own the patent. But then after that period is up, it becomes public.
Yeah,
it's insane
to me that that's not how it works.
I think it might work that way, but I think the period on it is like really long.
You just have to give
and that's
the
like the
recipe
most
if
like
you want to be on the
reformist way
market.
I could put that. That doesn't involve me like it doesn't involve guillotines. Like
you just have to give up the recipe if you want to sell in the market. That's simple as.
Well, if you give up the recipe to sell on the market, then the argument from a capitalist viewpoint would be that there's no longer incentive to produce that.
Incentive is we
vaccine.
pay universities to research. That's the incentive because that's all already usually where.
But then who pays the universities, right?
Yeah. I agree with you in the sense of like whenever we have like made publicly funded like vaccines that like or like medicines that are like made at universities and then distributed by pharma companies, the fact that the pharma company keep the patents on that is such bullshit. But I mean whenever, like, for example, with Pfizer, while there was government assistance in it, Pfizer was ultimately the one who developed the vaccine.
No. Cease speaking, American. The Pfizer vaccine is actually the BioNTech vaccine, which was developed in Germany by a German corporation.
I thought it was developed in Germany by Pfizer.
No, it's the Pfizer. Just basically BioNTech was a very small like they did basically cancer research shit. And then when it turned out they would have the first vaccine, Pfizer went over there was like, "Hey, I see what you're doing, but you have like one factory. We're gonna so they do work together, but all of the actual development is done by BioNTech. Pfizer just it does most of the manufacturing.
They had the distribution methods by which to
and also they did they assisted a lot in the process.
But they bought the patent by doing that. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know if that's they might not have bought the patent, but
still
they also
is the biotech company that you're talking about, is that like a private company or is it like
it's a private company.
Yeah, okay.
But it did get massive amounts of money from the government. Like,
and it really, okay. Well, there you go. Of course, they got massive amounts of money from the government. The government always gets massive amount of money to fucking. I'm sure Pfizer got a massive amount of money, or Moderna.
Whenever there's a crisis, the government will throw money at a problem to make it go away.
Anytime there's a problem, we have emergency socialism.
The funny thing is,
the problem with any of these copyright things is China does not give a fuck, and they will copy it. No matter what. I mean, it's why they have
F-22s. So this is the problem I have.
I can't really blame China if you're gonna fucking block people from having access to a thing that will literally like save like almost millions of people. No, not almost. We will save millions of people.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna insist on the proper nomenclature of West Taiwan.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. West Taiwan.
But yeah, no. I think
I prefer. I prefer North Hong Kong.
That's even more base.
Eastern Zhejiang.
We should just divide it into
Western Manchu.
Just divide it into 4 quadrants. It is south.
Unironically, China would probably be better if it was balkanized.
No, better. It's South Mongolia. It's South Mongolia.
And also, I love whenever fucking like Dengists and shit will like turn around and be like, "Oh yeah, do you want the U.S. balkanized?" Yes.
Yeah, it's that also might be a good idea. Europe not though. Europe must be unified.
Europe's already balkanized.
Yeah, come on.
Europe is already like 1,000 countries the size of Florida. Like I don't.
Yes.
Burger. Just a quick thing. We cannot go more balkanized than England versus France.
You can't get more balkanized than Liechtenstein existing.
San
Marino. Actually, I'd like to chime in on the whole Europe can't be more balkanized. I mean, the Holy Roman Empire was a thing. Let's return.
Oh yeah, true.
True. You've also got Bavaria. You've also got the Basque lands. You've got.
But the thing is, so all of those, all those independence movements, the strongest faction in pretty much all of them is, we want to secede from Germany, we want to secede from Spain, we want to secede from France,
but we want
to be in the EU though. We kind of want to join the EU though. That's
and the Netherlands played the fuck out of that meta.
You know what? No, not you know what? Don't balkanize Europe. Reform Yugoslavia. Let's go. Come on.
We just make Yugoslavia, but it's all of Europe.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yugoslavia.
Tito's zombie comes back and conquers Europe.
Tito 2
President of the
Electric
European
Boogaloo.
Commission, Tito. Oh goddamn.
Everything is just gonna be Luxembourg.
Yeah.
God, no! No, not
Let's-
Luxembourg! How could you? How could you do this to me?
I legitimately think that they should just turn Luxembourg into Euro City and just have everything Europe related there.
Let's be honest, it kind of is. A lot of senior European officials are from Luxembourg. Like a lot.
Brady,
Damn.
what
I should
is
have blown- I
that?
should-
What
I
is
should have-
that? What is that, Brady?
Oh,
No.
that's beautiful.
It's the Grand
Brady,
D of
no.
Lithuania, dude.
The Duke of Brittany.
Grand D of Lithuania.
Dutchy, for shortened.
What the heck did you do to my beautiful country? God damn it, Brady.
D
God
of
damn it.
Corrected it.
Completely balkanized
God damn
it. Well, at least Phrygia is still around.
Well, Phrygia is always going to be around because they literally were one of the ancient people
Well,
next to
even
the
Frisia is
Germanics.
balkanized because there's 3 of them. Like,
And you see on this map,
True.
we solve the problem of the land of racists.
Which is?
Germany.
Finland.
Germany.
No, Finland.
Okay.
It's gone.
there
It's
is no
taken over
Finland.
Sweden.
I was
Fair.
the
You can't-
grand. Oh, you. Lithuania. Why is Lithuania so big?
Lithuania used to be a superpower.
Livonian. Livonia, you bloody ingrates.
I'm sorry, I don't
Well,
speak
we might be talking about
Slavic.
different ones.
Bring back the Teutonic Order. Yes, great idea.
No, I'm talking
I
about.
fully support this.
I'm talking about like also the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. That was like you say Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and people go, I'm sorry, what? That used to be the eminent superpower. Like that's.
I do think it's
can't
really funny.
believe-
There's just a clusterfuck of small countries in the middle, and then just it grows out from there, and it grows significantly
USA.
bigger.
Not gonna lie though, unironically, the Lithuanian Polish Commonwealth, or Polish Lithuanian Commonwealth, I can't remember the order, was actually kinda unironically based. Like, no joke.
Then they decided to side with
Elective
Napoleon, so their
monarchies.
existence was forfeit.
Elective monarchies, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
That was fun.
fucking
The elective
based.
monarchy fucked them over quite hard. And you know, it was a German that fucked them.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
He declared like
Yeah.
3 separate fucking wars all at once, so they just got yeeted. While
Based.
bankrupt.
God, my poor Byzantine Empire. Sniff.
See, this is much more.
That's a meme.
The Night Hospitallers. Okay, no joke. Who was the coolest Holy Knight Order? That's the word.
The Knights of Gay Sex.
I would unironically say probably the Knights of Malta.
I was supposed to say the Knights of Balta, but that doesn't work. Oh, actually, the Knights of Balta, the Knights of Bolt, as in, Balta.
As in both. Yeah.
Damn, this is.
It's a comment on your last video.
It's Zuby. Okay, this has to be good.
I don't know.
A lot of what people call conspiracy theories are simply facts that most people are unaware of or in denial of. If you are months or years ahead of mainstream news, they will call you conspiracy theorist. And if it was proven correct, they will act like you weren't. I'm not sure that is what happened, my man.
I just think it was funny because you were talking about history written by the victors and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I genuinely. Okay, I don't know if you had that planned or if it just was a one-day rant and you just thought, like, God. But I saw this thing and I genuinely fucking hate people who say that, especially in the modern context, where they're like, oh yeah, history was written by the victors. okay, then how about all this misinformation about World War II? How about all this misinformation about recent historical events? How can you tell me that?
I have a
that?
theory on this, okay? So it's not that history, right, is written by the victors, but it is taught by the victors. Because if you look at like schooling systems, a lot of times they're framed from a certain lens and perspective that doesn't lie, but at least facts out.
But
what do you call the
I'm going to have to disagree with you
South,
there.
Though was it Lost Hope or something?
You disagree that like schools don't tell literally all of history? What do you mean?
No, I mean the fact is, from my perspective, it's more a fact of earlier on in his hang on, trying to find my time frame. So the further back you go, the less accurate sources are going to be. We are correct on that?
Yeah. I'm not okay.
So,
at some point we don't have written history.
No, stop. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I think you're misconstruing what I'm saying. I'm not saying historians get shit wrong. What I'm saying is people who teach history, especially for like your general education level, are going to have biases that are more likely to come out than like hardcore academics, and two, are going to limit the amount of information said to only things relevant to the lens of the society they live in.
Sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of my Spitfires.
No, I think you're right.
I'll mute you.
Especially the way that the Vietnam War is taught.
Yeah, the Vietnam War, or like
true, but I'm not talking
I didn't learn about Tulsa until like I was an adult. That seems like something I should have been told.
That I get very confused when I hear about like Americans like, yeah, no, we basically didn't learn about slavery. It was just America happened to slavery, and then also Obama became president. That's basically
What we're talking about slavery is slavery happened, and then the North fought the South to protect it to protect the Union, and then Martin Luther King came along and stopped all the segregation, and now racism's gone.
Yeah, and so
it's basically what we're taught.
Like, for instance, because I had a very different experience. Like, Germany does this very differently, where basically you have a whole 2 years of school where history class is basically exclusively focused on the Holocaust and the Third Reich, and it gets explored very in depth, especially the horrible parts of it. I had a history teacher that actually, which that's not like most teachers actually don't do this, but I had a very good history teacher where he would give us Nazi texts and all that and try to make us understand the ideology of Nazis.
I had a great lesson on the Holocaust, specifically because my teacher was Jewish, and so he wanted to really make sure that we understood.
And so this is the kind of relationship the Germans have with their problematic history. Like, there isn't something that we don't know about it. It isn't something that's glossed over. It's very specifically talked about.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, not just America, but the whole rest of the world doesn't do this. It's just...
Oh, yeah, we don't. I think it's because, like, our atrocities are from far enough away that, like, we can sort of just ignore them.
Yeah, but also, I
wouldn't necessarily say that this happens in the UK.
Are you kidding me?
Or France. But, no, we don't go over it like you do in Germany, but we do kind of say like it was a bad thing. You know, we still kind of discuss like.
I had a question. How often in English schools do you talk about the British occupation of India and how millions of people died? Because every time I talk to a British person, they seem to forget that.
So coming from me, I did not specifically learn it, but from what my brother told me from when he was studying history as his GCSEs, they kind of learned it. So not necessarily that, you know. Obviously, it was bad from the perspective of the British, whereas, like, yeah, people died and shit. But it was not necessarily to the point of, like, going fully in depth, like what Burger Creek is describing.
Right, that's the same thing we do in America. We talk about slavery. We say, oh, yeah, slavery was bad, and it was really shitty that we did that and stuff. But then we kind of, like, brush past it. We don't talk about, like, the sustaining effects of it.
The thing is,
I have this theory. I have this theory. I like to think of cultures as groups of people as basically their own entities, hive minds, essentially. And a culture is, to a certain extent, a hive mind and any mind can be traumatized, right? And so what Germany did basically is we had the horrible thing happen, and then immediately went to therapy for it. We immediately did. We worked through it, and we were aware of it. We did all that shit. Whereas in America, for instance, basically what happens is that like slavery gets ended, then the Reconstruction is basically halted because Lincoln gets ventilated. And the South has an opportunity to like not talk about it for a while, and then do revision, like basically post facto rationalize it. And then what needs to happen is that when you go to therapy years later, it's much more difficult to like peel back the layers of your own bullshit, and it's much more painful to deal with that trauma as a culture. And I think that's something that has been happening in the US for a long time.
I kind of get that to some extent from the Greater Society, but I think it sort of it sort of takes agency away from the people who like actively tried to reform the narrative to fit their agenda.
I think these you have to see these as different things. Like the product of the society is a product of the people acting within it. This is just something that is like it's something that. It is an analogous observation of the phenomenon itself. I do not think that this takes away the agency of like the straight up evil of what the revisionists did. Yeah. So and also like the entire like War of Northern Aggression bullshit. Where they basically did all of the historical revisionism in the South to essentially justify to themselves that like no, actually we were not the bad guys, and it's cool to be racist.
I would say, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying.
Kind of get that,
and I think
we kind of do the same thing with pretty much all of our wars.
Yeah, and I think all countries do this. I think that basically Germany is the only country that has done this sort of therapy, and I think that all countries need to do it.
Yeah,
I do think so to an extent.
Definitely one of the few Western countries. I think it's just because like. The rest of the West would not let them forget that shit. Like,
oh yeah, and it's good.
No, we would not. Yeah. We would seriously not. It's like, what's this? Do I hear like a majority of your population is, saying that, the Holocaust wasn't that bad? It's like, click. All right, ready for round two.
I do love that I had some people in the comment section of that video going, actually, but the wooden doors thing, do you have an explanation for that? Yes, very simple explanation is you can absolutely build a wooden door that is gas-proof. That is completely possible.
I saw a thing that was like a big deconstruction of all that shit, but I don't remember all of like the bullshit.
Oh, yeah, I think I know which one you mean, because like also some of the pictures that you have were like doors that were put in the 50s when the concentration camps.
A lot of them were doors that they were put on afterwards, like they had like blown off and they just fixed it.
Yeah,
because they did a restoration of it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like what they do in the East, but it just seems like in the East they just murder each other full out instead of.
Oh yeah, they've never
leaving around some people to have a problem with later on in the line. They just.
What?
The thing is,
right. Well, we're
East
talking about bad
West.
things happening in history, and I'm like in the East, they just murder.
China absolutely fucking despises Japan. Trust me, if they were given the option, they would flatten the Japanese into non-existent.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
the thing is with the whole
I
East.
Get why.
Japanese also West. Did not reconcile with their own history.
They still have. That's true. Yeah. They still deny that shit.
The thing is, with East versus West, while there were still a few kind of major powers, so like Ethiopia, for example, which was never colonized, and no, Italy does not count. No, do not fucking mention that, Freddy. I will fucking end you. That does not count. The Persian Empire, I forgot which dynasty it was. Afghanistan, I don't think was ever colonized.
Afghanistan was conquered
British
many times.
Conquered, yes, but colonized, no. I don't think so.
That's
I
right.
mean, what would you understand as being colonized, right? Because, is it
conquered necessarily means that you try to dismantle/destroy the state from that either, and specifically a kingdom.
Okay, so you would overwrite basically their culture.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
what you're saying
Well, colonization is not necessarily overriding, but you try to instill your own values while you still kind of recognize that they have their own values. Not necessarily. I'm having a hard time explaining this.
You displace native populations and their cultures in order to have your own cultures and people take over.
Yeah, you don't necessarily do it through war, basically.
I was just asking for the clarity of this particular.
So yeah, for example, Thailand hasn't been, but the problem with that is they've never had those age of enlightenment that we've had, right? They've never had the reforms that we've had. They've never had the Protestant reforms. They've never had stuff like the Age of Enlightenment during the 17,000s. They've never had the Industrial Revolution of their own. It's been instilled in them from the colonizers' perspective, of course, but they've never achieved that on their own. So I'm thinking the whole East versus West. So all the East countries
definitely had their Industrial Revolutions, and they was not So with Japan specifically,
Japan.
Well, also China. China and Japan are the two main examples I'm thinking of. Japan definitely had during the Meiji period. Yeah, essentially what happened was.
No, I know Japan, but
you said
with
Japan.
China. Yeah.
Okay, with China, so China was a primarily agrarian society until the sort of revolution. It rapidly industrialized through Mao's 5-year plans, essentially. Those are essentially obviously the industrialization led to a lot of fucking deaths too, because of some really dumb shit like the pest program they did.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, but Russia did the same shit, where Russia was a very unindustrialized nation, and they slowly started to industrialize, and then once the Soviets took over, then it rapidly kicked off.
Yeah, so I think my example then of
because of that rapid industrialization, you had a lot of people die.
So I think my example of they've never had industrial revolutions is an invalid one in that case. But it still counts that they've never had religious reforms like they've had, like we've had. I mean, they've had religious wars where they've had schisms, but I wouldn't necessarily say they've had reforms. To the extent that we've had, where it
depends. I mean, what religion?
Islam. I know they've had multiple schisms.
Islam
I know they've
had
had
its own
multiple
Age of Enlightenment too, but
that was long ago.
The Islamic Golden Age existed, so I mean, there's that.
The thing about
and there's tons of schisms and things that happen, and I think, as far as reform goes, I mean, there are definitely reforms made to the Islamic faith. They're just a lot more localized, and because of meddling from the West, it makes it very difficult for them to have reform, because essentially they get bombed, which breeds radicalization, which really leads to religious extremism.
The whole the whole entirety of Islam being as extremely conservative as it is now, as such a global phenomenon, is relatively recent in historical terms.
Yeah, they just reformed in the opposite direction.
Basically, because this mega conservative guy, nobody wanted to talk to him, except for one guy who had camels in the middle of the desert, and that is the guy who was the ancestor of the Saudi royal family. Yeah, it's
the main cause for them to come. Yeah, the main cause for them to come to power was essentially after World War I, whenever the Ottoman Empire was getting carved up by the British. The Saudis were able to
and the French,
Sorry, the British and the French.
Both your ancestry so much, Bosch.
Yes, I loathe my colonial ancestry. Trust me.
Oh goddamn! I really don't. I don't feel that much hate for her. I mean, I know we've done a lot of shit as a country. At least at least our king acknowledged the Dutch Indies problems.
No, because that's kind of the thing. What do you Yes, you should acknowledge all of that, and you should work through it. But at the same time, it's not like you can undo it.
No, the
Yeah,
acknowledgement is
no.
only is for okay. Here's the thing: acknowledgement of like colonialism and things like that. The way it helps is it allows you to understand problems that are stemming from that,
From it.
and then you're supposed to move to reform it. So if you just acknowledge it and then don't do anything to reform it, it's basically the same thing as you deny it.
It's virtue signaling.
I mean, Indonesia
Yeah.
is basically
more or less.
an independent country now, so there's not really a lot that we can do about it.
Yeah.
Generally.
Well, I mean, you could take steps in reforming it, I guess, but then you run into the problem.
That would be
with-
foreign interference.
I know
Yeah.
things. I know things that we
Exactly.
can do about it. I don't know enough about like Dutch foreign
Politics.
industrial powers to know like if you have like a lot of like colonialist like economic power in like Indonesia or whatever.
No, they basically.
I have no idea.
Well, what people, I think somebody in the server at least likes to say is that Indonesia was so spiteful of the Dutch that they made their own different language to distance themselves from them after being done with them.
I thought Indonesia had its own language prior to that.
There's a
Yeah,
bunch of
but
different
they're-
languages. Like Indonesia also is a very multi-ethnic, multicultural state.
But they're not speaking Dutch though.
Which still leads to a lot of tension there because
You don't say.
Yeah.
It's not like having multiple ethnicities with different linguistic abilities and different, traditions never leads to any conflict.
I see. This is the thing. I think in many ways, and this is gonna be way oversimplified thing. In a lot of these places, what they lack is nationalism. They have no. Yes.
Bruh.
No. But okay.
No, he has a point. He has a point.
I know what you meant, but
the concept of nationalism emerged as a rejection of the old power structures of Europe, specifically like the feudalist and like totalitarian monarchies, and like monarchies in general too. Like we are defined by our people, and we have the right to form our own government to govern ourselves. And this is an idea that was the case. It didn't translate in the same sense, but that was the mold that European colonial powers just put over all these countries and said, well, you're a nation now. I know you have no common identity. All of you identify more with your different tribes, ethnic groups, religions, clans, whatever. But you're a nation now. Have fun.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for disaster.
That is fair. Like you've all brought up the fact that they've had their own enlightenments, like Islam in this case, but they've had their own enlightenments, they've had their own religious reforms. I necessarily think it's my European bias that says it's not enough from my perspective.
Oh well, the nice things about the Islamic Enlightenment era are no longer there. That's the problem.
Let's say, like if you go to
it's Islam,
we got algebra.
destroyed their enlightenment.
We got algebra. There you go.
Yeah, that's true. But
they made
looking at
math,
it,
and then Islam came along, and it was like,
if
no,
they
math is
never
gay.
had-
Don't do this. Allah doesn't like
had
math.
their own kind of nationalism, because nationalism was like the big defining feature of how we are today, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it
like
defines the modern nation state. Yes.
It defines how a nation state is. I mean,
So, like, you are entirely correct in that point, and I think it's a valid argument, more or less. It's like they need to have their own nationalism, basically.
I don't think that is necessarily the case. I think, I don't think that we need to expect all these other cultures to follow the exact same mold. But the problem is the damage is done at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
The best you can do is attempt to like decolonize as much as you can, like especially economically, because that's the main way that modern economic Western powers choose to, and Eastern. Can't leave China out of this one.
Yep.
Choose to
or Japan. Well, Japan's on a lesser
Japan
extent,
definitely does too.
No, but
Japan...
you also cannot discount the these people in these colonized nations. They're not like passive recipients of Western action.
No, I know, but I'm not in those nations.
Active
I'm not in
agents
those nations. That was the thing. So
that
I can't really do much about it.
They are themselves active agents with their own ideologies, cultures, and factions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were basically asking. You see what they were.
I understand that, but because we are all, I think, in the chat, unless there's someone here who's like Chinese or something like that, are Western like people from like places that probably colonized somebody. The only thing we can do
from Mars.
Oh, if you're from well then we're gonna come colonize you. Fuck you.
Like, I haven't spoken much, but I am actually. I spent like the first 10 years of my life in Indonesia and then Malaysia.
Okay, cool.
And they do.
Well, then you can. Well, I assume you don't live there anymore, though, right?
No, I've moved.
I'm not going to give you any money. Sorry.
I've moved to the colonizers now. It's fine.
Malaysia.
All right, yeah, cool. Well, the point is, we live in countries which continue to do economic and military exploitation of countries like that.
Yeah,
not necessarily specifically Indonesia, but like that's what we can do. Indonesia can also organize itself in its own ways. There's not much we can do to fix that.
Let's be fair. What we can do, specifically the people in this chat, is nothing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's not true. No, that's not true at all. We all either vote or can act or can do action politically to influence the governments that we exist in or the people in the countries we're from.
Yeah, that's true. But like it said, but that's not a lot. Like specific, that's not really.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but it's what we can do.
Bomb the
It's more than we can do in Indonesia.
We could do revenue.
I mean, technically speaking, we could do stuff like changing banks that donate to a lot of organizations that probably don't help.
But that's do you have the power to change banks, Posh? Is that something that you can do personally?
I can change a bank.
I can do it on a personal level once I change house.
If enough people do personal stuff.
No, but this is once again individualizing the systemic problem.
Yeah, no,
that is true.
Like using market demand for. Of course, you should do that, but that is mostly something that you do by voting.
That is like step 5 or something within the guide of doing things.
Goddamn.
You should switch to a credit union.
1. Step 1, change to trade union. Step 2, don't know. Step 3, no clue. Step 5, profit.
Anyway, thank you all very much for being on. This turned out to be a very cool stream, very fun discussion. But it is time to end it. It's time to end everything. Thank you very much for watching, and see you round, cunts.
And remember, college is a scam. School is